so excited to chat with you about this story. It's a sweet story, father daughter. And I feel like the connected to the character hiding his illness from his child. The crazy thing was the script was initially for white characters, but Asians, we hide our pain, we hide our illnesses. Like, did you guys feel connected to the story when you received it regarding just like how it relates to who we are?
I don't know that I saw a cultural connection there. I certainly saw a universal connection there. I was also keen on, kind of pushing against an Asian stereotype, which is that we have trouble, saying "I love you" to one another, and so much of cinema history in America has been Asians kind of running away from their culture to find love in another culture. And I love stories when we show that we we love each other, and so that way I felt that the script was resisting stereotypes. But that's a really interesting observation about the hiding of the illnesses, because that is certainly the case in my family.
Yeah. Well, with for both of you, I love the father-daughter relationship because it's real. The daughter's a teenager. She just wants to grow up, and grow apart from the family. That's normal. And the dad doesn't know what to do because he's always been everything, as a single dad. Did you guys find the relatability of your characters? Because John, you are a father, and Mia, you were a teenager to an Asian parent. Did you guys find that relatable when portraying it and seeing it reflect your own lives?
Yeah, I definitely found it relatable. Just that she and I were growing up at the same time, and sometimes you don't always want to be around your parent, and sometimes your parent is annoying and embarrassing. Um, but I related to Wally in a lot of ways, and I think that I related a lot to her relationship with Max and in my own relationship with my dad. So it was really, really special to me.
Yeah, and John, as a parent too, because did you find that relatable, like of your kids just growing up and seeing that?
Yes, I do think that's the wonderful thing about this film. I think it's an incredibly accessible film in that we're all either children or parents or both, and so it, we just live in a very fractured world right now, and I think that's just a commonality that we all have. Um, and it was very on the surface for me, available to me, the sentiments, and it wasn't a character that I had to uh, work very hard to access the primary feelings for. So it's good for me. The easier, the better for Cho. I'm lazy as hell.
Well, on this one, there's so many themes to this story. There's family relationships, there's grief, there's sacrifice, parenthood, fighting, and what it means to move on. What do you want audiences to take from this film?
I mean, for the most part, there are a lot of different themes in the movie, but I think the main one is to just spend the time that you have with the people that you love, and to hug them and tell them that you love them while they're still around. Um, yeah, that's it for me. Is to just go and hug the people that you really love.
I'll echo that and add that, one of the nice things in the film for me as a viewer was seeing two vulnerable people, when sharing vulnerable people, become stronger together. And I think that's true in life, like you feel alone, you feel weak, but if you can share that with someone, the two of you can become stronger together.
Yeah, thank you so much. I can't wait for everyone to see this film. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I love the script. I know what I love about the script most is that it was initially set for white characters. And I know your love for John Cho like changed it to reflect an Asian single dad and his biracial daughter. How did this come about? Like John Cho.
Oh, well, yeah, thank you so much. And I just love John. I had seen him, well, I've seen him in many movies, but I had seen him specifically in Searching, where it was another father-daughter story where you didn't really get to know the daughter. But I really could see his humanity through the computer screen. I mean, that whole movie took place on a computer screen, and he was so beautiful in it, and he really just hit all those notes. And he's a terrific actor when it comes to comedy or drama or action or sci-fi. He can even do a musical. He's just a brilliant, brilliant guy who felt very similar to the character of Max. in his real life, but yet I hadn't gotten to see that on screen yet from him.
Well, the crazy thing about the story is that although it wasn't initially meant for an Asian character, the story is quintessentially an Asian story because we hide our secrets from each other. Even like if we're sick and we're dying, we don't tell our family. So were there any changes to the story since adding Max's and Wally's background?
Yeah, we actually had a lot of conversations about that very thing, about how it actually made more sense as an Asian American family. And then we did adapt the script in certain areas to feel like it was customized to them and reflected them. I mean, there's a line in the movie where Wally talks about how her dad took her to African dance classes, traditional African dance classes, to get her to know the other side of herself, and how that didn't work and just made her feel alienated. And that was actually a real story that Mia had told me about her mom, because her mom is Chinese and her father is not. And so that was, it just felt so real and relatable, and it just felt like we wanted to kind of infuse that wherever it made sense.
Well, and I love that, the story is about a father and daughter, and their relationship, but it does talk about single parenthood and also the sacrifices that we as parents make for our children. I understand that he really gave up everything for her. Was that another point you wanted to convey about parenthood and the sacrifices parents make?
I think he thinks he gave up everything for her. I think that's, kind of his naive gut reaction to things when they go wrong, because he hasn't dealt with some of the trauma in his life and some of his own choices. And I think Wally does a really great job of pointing out to him she didn't stop him from doing anything. He just didn't have the courage that she actually has. And I think that's kind of an empowering message. His daughter, she may be 16, but she's got more gumption than he does, and he's gotta learn to step up to the plate.
No, definitely. And you know what? The most heartbreaking thing about the story is a mother denying her child. What was the hardest part of creating that storyline?
It's a tough storyline because we're not used to seeing that on screen, where the mother is the one to leave. We've seen movies where the father leaves his family behind, but for whatever reason, because of stigmas in society, we're not used to seeing a mother do it. And the fact is that happens in real life all the time. It does happen, and it's unfortunate, but we've got to face it as reality on film.
Yeah. And then one last question. There's so many themes to the whole film, family relationships, grief, sacrifice, parenthood, fighting for yourself, and also what it means to move on. What is it that you really want the audiences to take from this story?
I say life is short and life is precious. But I think on a more optimistic note, it's really like follow your dreams and live your life to the fullest and take risks and try things you never thought you would try, because we don't know what's going to happen. And Max has regrets that ultimately he does get to rectify, and he really gains some courage throughout the movie. And I've been lucky enough to pursue my dreams, and I hope that for everyone else.
Okay, well, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. I can't wait for everyone to see this. So thank you for that. Thank you.
Thank you.
The activists, directors, comments and the lectures, fanboys, professional artists and professors. Maybe a nerd who's just like you, talking about the things that you like too. So I invite you to the NOC. In full color, you see me. The hard knock life.